Chapter 58:35. Chapter 58:35. The Lord of Annihilation must have seen something before dissipating. Long Fei didn't believe that he had inexplicable emotions before he died. Although he was afraid of death, he was too afraid to do such a meaningless thing. But Long Fei couldn't figure out what he saw to make him look like that. Yes. If it was just a word from him, Long Fei could ignore it. But there was a sharpness in his eyes that struck straight to the soul, which moved Long Fei's heart. For a moment, Long Fei fell silent, looked into the void, and remained silent for a long time. It wasn't until the world of silence in front of him began to gradually dissipate that Long Fei woke up from the silence. After a while, Long Fei covered the sky with one hand, creating a void of heaven and earth, and brought Yi Yorong and others out. So when he came out, there was only himself. In the void, only Mr. Da is waiting, and the figure of the sea has disappeared. "Where's the sea?" Long Fei asked. This isn't right. With Dahai's mind, he should be extremely concerned about himself. He has always had doubts about his identity, and since he had used that kind of power without hesitation before, he would definitely have more doubts. What Long Fei didn't expect was that when he came out at this time, there was no trace of the sea. He seemed to have sensed something before, and then left with a sullen face. Mr. Da said. He was also looking at Long Fei at this time. To be honest, he still has doubts about Long Fei's identity. He now felt that he should not have come out of the place of origin at all. Talking about the 4 categories of heavens has now become a complete joke. There are 4 people, and I am the one who makes soy sauce. Of course, the Lord of Annihilation was even worse, as Long Fei was directly killed. Moreover, he felt that his situation was extremely dangerous now. Whether it is Long Fei or Dahai, they all have the strength to kill themselves. Especially now, Long Fei's identity is a mystery. It is no longer possible to tell whether he is himself or not. His methods had completely failed in front of Long Fei and were of no use at all. He can digitize any power, but at this time Long Fei has exceeded the limit. His power was no longer able to perform data analysis on Long Fei. To put it simply, Long Fei was beyond the limit of his abilities. Long Fei pondered slightly and looked into the void. Did he discover something? Long Fei muttered to himself. There is only one possibility for Dahai to abandon himself at this time, and that is that he discovered the existence he mentioned. An existence that is truly superior to all living beings and is the source of all things. At the same time, he also thought of the previous reaction of the Lord of Nirvana when he was about to die, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of solemnity in his heart. The Lord of Annihilation must have seen something, so he said those inexplicable words. And what he saw is most likely an existence that is different from this universe. Long Fei thought in his mind. As soon as he thought of this, he looked into nothingness and without any hesitation, he turned into a stream of light and disappeared. Mr. Da watched Long Fei leave, and the look in his eyes couldn't help but become a little confused. Even distress. Damn it, I really lost my temper this time. What, the 4 categories of heaven and earth were promised to me, but now I am the one who makes soy sauce. Mr. Big looked helpless. Let alone the Lord of Annihilation, Long Fei has already been killed. But neither Dahai nor Long Fei were on the same level as him, as if he was not even qualified to serve at the table. If he had known that this was the case, he would rather stay in the world where the data originates. Even if it is false, at least you can sit back and relax. But now, he is like duckweed in the wind, and he might be caught at any time. Die. Especially witnessing the death of the Lord of Annihilation made the sense of crisis in his heart soar. Not to mention that Long Fei and Dahai each have their own secrets, and they might point their fingers at him at some point. Simply because the 2 of them had left one after another, he just felt it was inappropriate to leave him here. Does this still treat him as one of our own? But at this moment, figures suddenly came out of the wild world. Are you with Long Fei? A voice suddenly appeared. The violent muscles stirred up endless power, as if it could burst the void, and it was full of explosive atmosphere. He is none other than Long Batian. Now that the power of death that shrouded the prehistoric world has disappeared, he naturally couldn't hold back the loneliness in his heart and walked out. Of course, he was unaware of what happened here before. They were already outsiders when Mr. Big took action to digitize this world. To put it simply, they were no longer qualified to participate in this round at that time. Mr. Da was slightly startled when he saw such arrogant Long Batian. But when he looked at Long Batian, the emotion in his heart disappeared instantly. Without it, Long Batian is just the presentation of absolute data in his eyes. Health bar, strength, attributes. In other words, Long Batian is still under his control. Just like that, you dare to show off in front of him? When he thought of this, he looked over. Are you talking to me? Long Batian was stunned and his eyes narrowed slightly. Where did this old man come from? So arrogant. In fact, this can't be blamed on him. Although he has been to the origin of the place, he also caused a turmoil in the origin. But that level is too low, and he is not even qualified to be noticed by Mr. Da. Even for Mr. Da, it was just a few parameters that had changed. Therefore, he didn't care at all about Mr. Da at this time. Of course, so does Mr. Big. He's just a little asterisk who can be digitized by me at a glance. How dare he show off in front of me? I can't defeat Long Fei, I can't defeat Da Hai, and I can't defeat you. Of course, besides you, is there anyone else here? Since you have been here, I would like to ask you, have you seen Long Fei? Long Batian is still arrogant. In his opinion, he was just an ordinary old man and there was no need to care. See you. Mr. Big responded. Long Batian raised his eyebrows, so the crisis contact here is really related to him? At this moment, Long Batian's expression changed. He has never been inferior to others throughout his life, always fighting and comparing with Long Fei. He was even a little dissatisfied when Da Hai told him that he was not even qualified to be a chess piece. But now, there is a gap in my heart. He was powerless with the power he had before. But all crises were resolved in the hands of Long Fei, which already explained a lot of problems. But he was still unwilling to give up and asked, did Da Hai take action and help Long Fei? Mr. Big shook his head, his eyes full of pity. Long Batian is a digital image in his eyes. Similarly, Long Batian's emotions will be presented to him in a special way. It is precisely because of this that he feels pitiful. At what level do you dare to compete with Long Fei? Chapter 5836. Chapter 5836. Naturally, Long Batian didn't know what Mr. Da was thinking. On the contrary, in his eyes, Mr. Da was just an old man without any cultivation. Maybe he has something to do with Long Fei, but he doesn't care. After all, Long Fei is Long Fei and he is him. If he can't defeat Long Fei, why can't he still be arrogant in front of a little old man? At this time, Long Batian saw that Mr. Da was silent and even looked at him with an expression of extreme pity, and his heart sank. But instead of being cautious, he was filled with anger. Is Long Batian really dead? Now anyone dares to show off with him? What do you mean? Who gave you the courage to look at me like this? Long Fei. Long Batian looked at Mr. Da, and anger burst out in his eyes. He is now on the edge of time and space, his presence now diminishing. Ever since he confronted Long Fei through the time and space tunnel in the prehistoric world, he felt that he was no longer among the best. Later, he fought against Ying Yi and was ignored. He fought against Long Fei's son and was ignored again. The battle with Qingying. No, they didn't fight, but they were ignored all the same. He felt now that people related to Long Fei had begun to become arrogant and clamored in front of him. Can he bear this? He tolerated Long Fei's woman and son, and Ying was strong enough, so he also tolerated it. Now he can still be ignored by a little-known old man? No. Absolutely intolerable. Mr. Da frowned slightly, looking at the arrogant Long Batian in front of him. He was speechless. Where did this idiot come from? Don't you know what rank you are in? You just pretended to be in your world, but now you're pretending to him? Yes, in Mr. Da's opinion at this time, Long Batian is a domineering and arrogant person, and he is the kind of person who is already used to being arrogant in his own world, and wants to step on everyone he sees. Now, needless to say, this kick has fallen on him. Damn it, I can't compare to the sea, I can't compare to Long Fei, I can't even compare to the dead Lord of Nirvana. But I am a body of variables, and you, a person who can be digitized by me, still dare to show off in front of me. The anger in Mr. Da's heart gradually rose. The next moment, he looked at Long Batian. Have you always been so pretentious? Where does your pride come from? Because you are second? Because you are stupid? Because you love to pretend? Mr. Da looked at Long Batian coldly with contempt in his eyes. Long Batian frowned and looked at Mr. Da in disbelief. Are you talking about me? Long Batian asked back, with a look of disbelief on his face. How dare he say such a thing? Now in front of him, shouldn't he be submissive? Shouldn't we lower our posture and beg for mercy? Why did it become like this? But in just a few breaths, his heart was filled with anger, and he said in a deep voice, Do you know what you are talking about? Do you think you can do whatever you want with Long Fei covering you? Mr. Big was stunned. Long Fei covering himself? Immediately, he understood. It turns out that this guy suffered a loss at the hands of Long Fei, and now he wants to make up for it on himself. Dream. Thinking of this, he said, You are right, Long Fei is stronger than me. But I am not a vegetarian. I am the prophet of origin, a variable in the 4 categories of the heavens. What about you? It's just a system. Push up, little Yakuza. Power is just a bunch of numbers in front of me. How dare you question me? Who gave you the courage? Mr. Da's posture was proud, and the caution in his heart disappeared. Yes. He belongs to the 4 categories of the heavens and is one of the most mysterious beings in the vast universe. Moreover, one is dead now. In other words, apart from Dahai and Long Fei, he is the most awesome now. Long Batian was silent, and suddenly he had a bad feeling in his heart. His intuition told him that he should leave immediately, otherwise trouble might occur. But the moment he had this idea in his mind, a figure suddenly walked out of the prehistoric world. It's Di Shin. No, it should be said that he is Long Fei's son. Di Shin looked at Long Batian, then at the old gentleman, and said, Go on, I've seen this from beginning to end. There can be no good between you today, and one of you must die. He doesn't mind watching the excitement. He didn't know Mr. Da's identity, but he could feel that the aura on Mr. Da's body was extremely strange. Although he couldn't see through his strength, the fact that he could appear here and witness everything as a bystander already showed that he was extraordinary. 1. Long Batian frowned. Why did he come out and get angry as soon as he came out? Was he trying to disgrace himself? You little bastard, just like you. Long Batian cursed angrily in his heart, secretly thinking that like father, like son, he was just like Long Fei, extremely shameless and annoying to look at. Mr. Da also began to look at him at this time. In just one glance, he could see the shadow of Long Fei. There must be an inextricable relationship between this boy and Long Fei. Whether he can offend him or not, he must not offend him. And it seems that he and these 2 fools are not going to deal with each other. In this case, why not just fulfill his wish and kill these 2 fools? Mr. Da analyzed in his mind. Immediately, he began to use his own strength to size up Di Shin, but he was soon disappointed. Although Di Shin has systematic power, there is another power deeper down that conceals his essence, and he cannot be digitized at all. At this moment, he was even more determined in his decision. Immediately, he shifted his gaze and looked at Long Batian. He is right, one of us must die today. I am a big man in the place of origin, and I cannot insult you. Since you said something you shouldn't say, do it what not to do, then there will be a price to pay. Long Batian frowned deeper. But even more cautious. Mr. Da revealed his identity at this time, which made his expression confused. It's not like he hasn't been to the place of origin. However, his level was too low at the beginning and would not attract Mr. Da's attention at all, but this does not mean that he does not know about Mr. Da's existence. When he heard him reveal his identity, he suddenly realized that he had hit a brick wall. But now in front of Di Shin, can he give in? Of course not. Thinking of this, he said, Are you Mr. Da? And now you are with Long Fei? Then do you know who I am with? Mr. Da was stunned and looked Long Batian up and down. This is interesting. Are you starting to compete with others now? Who are you with? Mr. Da said, with a hint of amusement in his eyes. He also wanted to see which could take a fancy to such a lowly person. Long Batian heard the contempt in Mr. Da's mouth, and a coldness flashed in his eyes. Have you ever heard of the only one? I'm not afraid to tell you, behind me, there is the only one. What about you? What level? Don't say it's you, just even if he is Long Fei, what level is he? Mr. Big was slightly startled. The moment Long Batian spoke, a figure already appeared in Mr. Da's mind. Good. It's the sea. But equally, he also had his own doubts. Why would a person like Dahai fall in love with such a loser? With Dahai's wisdom and scheming, he planned for eternity. Even Long Fei, him, and even more terrifying existences were part of his plan. But why would you let such a simple-minded guy with well-developed limbs follow you? But how did he know that Long Batian was not like this before? It was just because Long Fei's battle gave him such a heavy blow that he was completely ruined now. Chapter 58:37. Chapter 58:37. You know, at the end of the story when the story is not in progress, Long Batian is also an extremely awesome character. A presence throughout. It's just that now, he has been eliminated. There is no way, he has now gradually become clear about his position. Now he can only be a witness. Yes, he knew very well that he had been kicked out and was not qualified to enter the game. It was okay before, when I was playing against Long Fei, he was still at the card table. But from the moment he was defeated by Long Fei, he was no longer qualified to enter the game. Although he is still involved in it, he knows that these are just small fights now, and there are only two people who can really control the chessboard. One is the sea and the other is Long Fei. Even Ying, like him now, is just a witness to the ending, powerless and unable to change it. It is precisely because of this that he is letting himself go now and wants to find a sense of presence in front of Mr. Big. But I didn't expect that Mr. Da was not conceited at all and actually confronted him for tat. However, at this time, Mr. Da's heart was also filled with waves. Fucked with the sea. Although this is beyond his understanding, he still has to care after all. After all, he is now very clear about his position. Although he is now among the 4 categories of the heavens, he has no sense of existence. The main reason is that both Long Fei and Dahai are too capable. He has no strength and can only stand aside. As for who is stronger, Long Fei or Dahai, he has no idea. But no matter who is stronger, none can compare to him. So at this moment, he was thinking about whether he should be soft to Long Batian. But at this moment, a voice suddenly appeared. Long Batian, listen to what you are saying. Can you, Long Batian, do such a shameless thing? I, Long Cheng, look down on you. Long Cheng, who transformed into Di Xin, said. But now, he has recovered himself. He entered the primitive world because of a bet between Dahai and Long Fei. Now that the Lord of Annihilation has been killed and all causes and effects have dissipated, he naturally no longer has to carry that identity. Long Batian looked at Long Cheng who had recovered himself, and his eyes were filled with anger. There is no way, as Long Fei's descendant, he has too many similarities with Long Fei. Little bastard, it's none of your business here. Don't cause trouble. Long Batian gritted his teeth and said. Now he feels annoyed when he sees anything related to Long Fei. Especially when a young version of Long Fei stood in front of him, it made him so angry that he wanted to take action directly. But there is no way. It has fallen short. The ancient world has now returned to peace, and all the power of death has disappeared. Although it is not sure whether Long Fei or Dahai won, no matter which one of them it is, he has fallen down a level now. If he takes action against Long Cheng now, many people will be dissatisfied. Of course, this is secondary. Now he has no absolute certainty that he can suppress him. Thinking of this, Long Batian felt even more unhappy. As soon as he thought of this, he directly turned his gaze to Mr. Da. Old guy, come on, tell me, who are you with? Who gave you the courage to be so arrogant in front of me? Long Batian said evilly. Pick the persimmons that are soft. He had no choice but to dare to offend anyone related to Long Fei, otherwise there would be no good results. There was a hint of amusement in Mr. Da's eyes. He looked at the furious Long Batian and said softly, "I also flew with Long Fei." Long Batian. At this moment, Long Batian felt like he was experiencing a large-scale social death scene. He originally wanted to find an outlet in Mr. Da, but he didn't expect to receive such an answer. "I don't believe it. I know Long Fei. There is nothing worthy of mention except trash around him. Although you are also trash, it is obvious that you are worse than anyone I have ever seen. You are trash among trash. Long Fei doesn't raise idle people, so it's impossible for you to follow Long Fei." Long Batian said one after another. "It seems that I want to find a reason to convince myself." Mr. Da didn't say anything, just looked at Long Batian. "But the eyes can't deceive people, those eyes are full of ridicule. Waste." This was said by Long Fei and Da Hai, and also by you. Okay, I really didn't expect that I would be called useless by Long Fei and people outside the sea. I originally wanted to keep a low profile with you, but I didn't expect that you would end up pretending to be cool with me. In this case, I won't pretend anymore," Mr. Big said, waving casually. Boom. Suddenly, in front of everyone, the original world suddenly changed, as if an invisible screen enveloped the world. Long Batian was stunned. "Damn it, I'm done. I met someone who was pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger." Although he didn't know what this power was, how could he, who had carried the system and relied on it to become invincible, not know that this was digitizing the world? There is only one place in this world that can have such a method, and that is the place of origin. There is only one world that can digitize a whole world with a backhand, and that is the legendary gentleman in the original world. After getting this answer, Long Batian was embarrassed. The expression on his face also became extremely wonderful. Without it, his power is the power brought by the system. What a system is the power of countless data. But now he is actually showing off in front of a being who can control data, and even wants him to humble himself in front of him. Head. Damn it, what did I do? For a moment, Long Batian felt quite speechless, thinking that he must have been in bad luck, and no matter what he did, there would be no good results. Come on, don't you want to kill me? Come and get one and let me see." Mr. Big sneered. He was also holding back his anger now. Whether in front of Long Fei or in front of the sea, he was always submissive. Now that he had an opportunity to strike hard, he couldn't bear to let it go. Long Batian said nothing with a dark face. On the side, Long Cheng's expression also became a little solemn. He also carried the power of the system, and even transformed because of the power of the system, and now he has become the only strong man who is not inferior to him. So he naturally knew how terrifying Mr. Da's methods were. But he didn't have much fear. After all, he heard the conversation between the two clearly. He is hanging out with Long Fei, so calling himself young master is not too much, right? When he thought of this, his mind became active. "That old gentleman, please introduce yourself, my father Long Fei." Mr. Big frowned. "Why are you talking about this now? Do you want to plead for Long Batian?" After all, Long Cheng was also someone who had led Das Hang. He could already guess Mr. Da's thoughts just by looking at him and said quickly, "Sir, don't get me wrong. I'm not begging for mercy. I'm just telling you my identity. If nothing else, you can call me young master," Long Cheng said, with a slight smile in his eyes. Chapter 58:38. Chapter 58:38. Mr. Da was stunned and looked at Long Cheng in disbelief. Did he jump out just to show off in front of him? "Little lord." He said this as if he was Long Fei's lackey. No, he's not, he doesn't admit it. On the side, Long Batian's eyes were filled with anger. He naturally knew what Long Cheng meant when he said this, just to make him feel disgusted. If Mr. Da really calls him young master, then this guy will definitely have to show off in front of him. When he thought of this, he couldn't help but say, "Little bastard, you are more shameless than your father. You really think you've got me, right?" Long Batian's eyes were red, feeling that the world was against him. Long Cheng didn't care. "Long Batian, have you not seen your position clearly yet? Do you think you are still qualified to say such things now? Do you want to see who you are facing? I, Long Cheng, the son of Long Fei." Long Cheng was very proud, especially knowing that his father was on the same level as Long Baishan's backer. The arrogance in his heart could not be suppressed. I have no choice. I have an invincible father. Is there anything I can do? If Long Fei knew what Long Cheng was thinking at this time, he would definitely throw him away with a big blow. Who gave birth to it? Why do you like to show off so much? Forget it, just pretend to be cool. You have no strength, so you still use your own name to show off. Mr. Da was silent at this time, but he understood. This Long Cheng is a show-off. He may have the ability, but he can't suppress Long Batian. Now he just wants to use himself to give Long Batian a show of strength. But Mr. Big was not prepared to obey. Joke. After all, he is one of the 4 categories in the heavens. Logically speaking, he is on par with Long Fei and Dahai, but those 2 people are too perverted, and he has no sense of existence in front of them. But you can't really be a dog. Still, young master, I don't hash every time verification appears. Please do not use incognito mode. Do you want to save face? When he thought of this, he said, shut up. Long Fei is Long Fei, and you are you. Besides, Long Fei and I are in a cooperative relationship, and I am not his lackey. Long Cheng was stunned. This result was something he had never thought of. Are you so disrespectful? Didn't you agree to hang out with your father? Now what does this mean? Is he also a rebel? Old sir, you heard me clearly, I am Long Fei's son. Long Cheng refused to give up and continued. Mr. Da ignored it and snorted, I know, you have the blood of Long Fei. But let me say it again, I have a cooperative relationship with him, I am not his lackey. Long Cheng's face gradually stiffened, not out of anger, but out of embarrassment. I originally wanted to use Mr. Da to show off, but I didn't expect it would be such a result. Ahem, old man, don't be angry, I'm just joking. As we all know, I, Long Cheng, am today, not only because of my parents, but also not because of my background. I am doing it step by step. Long Cheng changed the subject and wanted to forcefully regain his respect. But before he finished speaking, he was directly interrupted by Long Batian. Step by step, I relied on the system provided by Dahai to achieve what I am today. The contempt in Long Baishan's eyes was even greater. Originally, he was a little worried. If Mr. Da really dared to call Long Cheng a young master, then he would not be able to lose face today. But after listening to Mr. Da's answer, he suddenly felt that the old man was kind-hearted and cute. Long Cheng's face darkened. Shut up. You were born countless generations earlier than my father. Tell me about you. You were a powerful figure in the world back then. You couldn't beat my father, and you couldn't us. Now, you can just show off in front of an old gentleman. What else do you have? Face speaks. Long Cheng will naturally not stand guard. No, he can't pretend. Mr. Da interrupted. I don't care what he does in front of others, but if he shows off in front of me, I can crush him to death with one hand. Mr. Big said coldly. Long Baishan's face was as gloomy as water. This is not saving any face at all, it is rubbing your own face on the ground. But soon, the gloom in his heart was swept away, and Mr. Da continued to say, the same goes for you. Your strength is also created by the system. If I want to, I can format your strength with just one thought. Without the system, you don't have the right to show off in front of me. At this moment, Long Batian looked at Long Cheng, who looked as if he had eaten coptis, and his heart suddenly felt happy. It's just embarrassing, it doesn't matter, there are still people with me. Long Cheng also fell silent now. He felt that he couldn't accept these words. He really wanted to say something. Didn't you just follow my dad? Then we are our own people. It's hard for me to do this. Of course, Long Fei didn't know all this. Of course, if you knew it, you wouldn't care. At this time, he had followed the breath of the sea to the end of the endless void. For their level, it only takes a moment to cross the void, and the endless time and space are all under his thoughts. With one thought of eternity, they can transcend immortality, travel across time and space, and reach any point in this void. Of course, areas outside this original world are not included. After all, the original world is a core. Compared with this, any other world can be said to be just a small world, not on the same level and dimension. If they leave the original world, there will be no obstacles in other regions and they will arrive in a matter of seconds. But that means nothing to Long Fei. After all, every time verification appears, please do not use incognito mode. Unexpectedly, the problems he is facing now are all in this core world. Dahai's figure was right in front, looking at a looming portal at the end of the void, his eyes solemn as never before. He came, said the sea softly. Who? Long Fei asked. He already had a guess in his mind, but he still couldn't believe it. The one who can make Dahai show such an expression must be someone outside the four categories of the heavens, and one who is qualified to occupy the first class. It's just that he expected that this kind of existence would not show up so easily. After all, he and Dahai also planned to hunt this existence in their plan. But now that he has appeared, doesn't this mean that their previous plan has been aborted? Who are you talking about? The one above the only. Dahai said. Long Fei was silent and thoughtful. Since Dahai said this, he would naturally not doubt it. Although he was a little surprised, Dahai would not deceive himself on such a matter. What should we do? If he appears, does that mean that your previous plan has gone bankrupt? Long Fei said. Dahai suddenly turned around and looked at Long Fei, with a flash of disgust in his eyes. Can you be a human being and start scheming against me before we even start? What do you mean by my plan? You know our plan. Dahai looked helpless and was very unhappy with Long Fei's reaction. How did he manage to remove himself so naturally? When would Long Fei, with his thick eyebrows and big eyes, be able to say such shameless words? Long Fei responded with a speechless look. Sure enough, the sea is the sea after all, and it always counts itself in the calculation. Don't talk nonsense. This has nothing to do with me. It's clearly your own plan. Don't forget, my parents are in a hostile relationship now. It's impossible for me to join forces with you. Long Fei vowed. I'm just not going to mess with you anymore. You have controlled my whole life, and now that I have finally risen, do you think I am still willing to be controlled by you? Long Fei said, and the aura escaped from his body. Dahai's expression changed. It has to be said that Long Fei's current strength is second only to him. Even if there is a gap, it won't be too big. In other words, Long Fei now has the qualifications to compete with him. See, you said you don't care. Do you think I'm not qualified to give up? It's just the apocalypse tribulation. If you can jump out, I can jump out too. If it doesn't work, I will just jump out with my wife and children and wait for the apocalypse tribulation. I'll come out after it's over. I will still be invincible by then. Long Fei said with a lazy look on his face, as if he didn't care about anything anymore. Crap, Long Fei, I misjudged you. I thought you were a real man and would definitely choose to fight to the end. I gave in just thinking about you. Dahai looked angry, and there was even murderous intent in his eyes. Long Fei still looked indifferent. There's no shame in surviving. If you force yourself to do things you know you can't change, that's nothing. That's self-humiliation. Besides, I don't think I'm giving in. Just because you can't do it doesn't mean I can't do it. I'm going to live in seclusion for an era, and when the next era of apocalypse comes out, I'll plan another era. When the time comes, I'll go and defeat the one you're talking about. As Long Fei spoke, his eyes gradually became sparkling. It was as if he was already imagining the scene he was talking about. Dahai's expression became even worse. Wasn't this a slap in the face? You think you can do things that I can't even do? Dahai scolded angrily. Of course. I, Long Fei, will definitely do whatever I want to do. Long Fei continued with a cold look in his eyes. Okay, in that case, let me see you. You want to jump out with your people, but as long as I'm here, I won't let you succeed. After Dahai finished speaking, the world in front of him suddenly collapsed. And his figure also disappeared at this moment. Only Long Fei was left in the void again. Dahai, please don't take action against my people, otherwise everyone will really fall out. Long Fei whispered to himself, with a cold light shining in his eyes. Immediately, his figure flashed past. Disappeared in the blink of an eye. And just after the two figures disappeared, a portal quietly appeared in the sky again. Every time verification appears, please do not use incognito mode. They pretended that they had murderous intentions, but they didn't start a fight. I don't believe it. I didn't realize that there were two brainless people in this reincarnation, and they acted like infernal affairs with me. It's childish. A voice slowly drifted down and then disappeared. At this moment, Long Fei's figure appeared in front of a portal flashing with green light. Come out and chat. Long Fei said softly. The next moment, a figure walked out of the portal. Another dragon flies. However, in order to distinguish Long Fei, this person wore a red robe, which was as alluring as blood. How about it? Is my power easy to use? Now you find that you are useless. Without my power, you can't even fight the Lord of Annihilation to death, let alone fight the sea. By then, your women will be dead. If I die in front of you, why do you insist on giving me any strength? Red-robed Long Fei said, his eyes full of disdain, as if he looked down on Long Fei extremely. Long Fei's expression remained unchanged. When I fought with Dahai, I didn't use your power. To be honest, your power is just like that, just the icing on the cake. Tough talk. If you were really as relaxed as you said, you wouldn't be here. Red-robed Long Fei sneered, and there was a hint of sarcasm in his empty eyes. Stop talking nonsense. No matter how much you talk, it can't change the ending that you can't get out of. You can only show off when I lose myself. So, being tough is useless. Long Fei said, also not taking the other party seriously. Red-robed Long Fei's pupils shrank, hatred and anger intertwined. You bastard, what do you mean? Do you want to break the contract? Long Fei shook his head. It's not like breaking the contract. I just want to change the way. Chapter 5840. Chapter 5840. The red-robed Long Fei looked unkind and looked at Long Fei with doubt in his eyes. I don't believe a word of your words right now. You said that after you kill the Lord of Nirvana, I will go out and you go in. The two of us can come one day at a time. But now, you want to change again. Who do you think I am? The red-robed Long Fei questioned Long Fei. His face was cold, as if he would fall out at any time. Don't you know who you are? You are just the cause of the calamity. If I hadn't been willing to accept the calamity, you wouldn't have existed at all. Long Fei said softly. Good. Long Fei already knew more. He had concealed this before, including the battle with Dahai, or the communication with Mr. Big. Of course, it's not that Long Fei is afraid of causing their dissatisfaction, but that Long Fei is confident in suppressing everything. Even with this calamity, Long Fei has absolute confidence. The red-robed Long Fei's eyes suddenly turned scarlet, and he stared at Long Fei. You don't have to look at me with such hateful eyes. You don't dare to kill me. You exist because of me. If something happens to me, you won't stay in this world. But I am still willing to give you a chance. Long Fei said, suddenly raising his head and looking at Hong Pao himself. I can enter this door and exchange your existence in this world. The red-robed Long Fei was stunned. He never expected that Long Fei would make such a decision. He thought Long Fei was going to expel him and fall into darkness forever. Unexpectedly, Long Fei gave a completely opposite answer. What do you mean? Haven't you been guarding against me? Why is this happening now? Red-robed Long Fei asked. Although he had always longed for this, but now that Long Fei actually said this answer, he felt that it was extremely unreal. Literally. But there are some things that require your cooperation. Long Fei said, describing the drama between himself and Dahai. Every time verification appears, please do not use incognito mode. Read it again. So, do you want to fake it? Just leave and ignore everything. But you have to know that I can't bear this apocalypse for you. Even after I go out, I will try my best to promote the apocalypse. Of course, maybe I can do this without having to do anything. After all, I am the cause of the disaster. Red-robed Long Fei said. Long Fei nodded. I know, so I won't stop you at this point, just do whatever you want. But there is one thing, you are not allowed to touch my woman. Even if you are from the same origin as me, you only appeared because of me. But you can't do that either. Long Fei spoke righteously. He absolutely cannot accept others putting hats on him, even if it is another self. Don't worry, I'm not interested in women, I love destruction. Red-robed Long Fei said. But soon, he asked again, but I still don't understand why you suddenly made such a decision. Tired. Long Fei responded. Red-robed Long Fei's expression froze. What is this? Are you even too lazy to be perfunctory? Don't be so surprised. I can obviously ignore you, but now I find a reason to deal with you. Just be satisfied. Long Fei said and walked forward step by step. Soon, he came to the red-robed Long Fei. As for what I am doing, you don't have to guess. Now, you can go out. Long Fei was too lazy to explain and didn't want to waste more time. As soon as he finished speaking, he pushed and threw the red robe directly out. The next moment, he was the only one left in this space. But of course, here, it's top secret. No matter how big, neither the sea nor the one that is above all can come in. Because this is the world that belongs to Long Fei's body, exists in nothingness, and belongs only to Long Fei. I hope my guess is right. Although I don't know why this tribulation body appears, this door has the same aura as the door where the existence appeared. If my bet is right, I may be able to witness another world. A world of only one, Long Fei muttered to himself, and a look of joy gradually appeared in his eyes. He has been taking risks along the way, but this time it is a big gamble. If he loses the gamble, he will die and there will be no chance of recovery. But if the bet wins, then everything will change because of yourself, even things that the sea cannot do will be created by your own hands. Yes, the reason why he went to great lengths to show off to that being twice was just to feint his shot. He never expected the other party to believe it. He just wanted to create an illusion and launch his plan at this moment. He just wanted to enter the door and see the world behind it. And this world is what he guessed was another existence, a world that existed above everything else. This is his way to break the situation. I hope you don't disappoint me. As Long Fei spoke, his eyes gradually became firm, and then his figure flashed and he stepped into the portal. In a world of stars and rivers of indescribable beauty, Long Fei's figure gradually appeared. At this moment, Long Fei was a little stunned. Is this the world behind that door? It seems a little different from what I thought. Long Fei was a little depressed. He thought that such a world must be extremely dangerous, but now that he has come here, he feels every time verification appears, please do not use incognito mode. I feel like I'm thinking too much. This was completely opposite to what he had imagined. Wherever there is any danger, it would not be an exaggeration to describe it as a fairyland on Earth. At this moment, Long Fei actually had some doubts and felt that he had guessed wrong. Ding! Congratulations to the players for coming to the real world. The system functions have been reshaped. At this moment, a long-lost voice suddenly appeared in his mind. Long Fei was stunned. The uneasiness in my heart became stronger and stronger. Wrong. It must be wrong. As soon as this thing appeared, Long Fei felt a sense of despair in his heart. With his strength, the system is completely useless, and there is no way it can help him anymore. But now the system has recovered. What does this mean? Either his own cultivation has disappeared and everything needs to be started again, or the level of existence in this world is too low, making the system feel that he is good again. Upon thinking of this, Long Fei quickly began to check himself. But after this glance, Long Fei became even more depressed. His cultivation is still there, and he is still invincible. System, did you make a mistake? My cultivation is still there, are you sure your reinvention will work? Long Fei tried to ask. This scene was so weird that Long Fei felt that everything had become confusing again. However, the system did not respond at this time, and only a cold countdown appeared in Long Fei's sea of consciousness. This countdown is naturally the countdown to the time for system reconstruction. A full 24 hours. Long Fei forced himself to calm down. No matter why this scene happened, it was unusual. But it's useless to worry. All he can do now is wait. When the system recovers, there may be an answer by then. Chapter 58:41. Chapter 58:41. The day flies by. This day has been a bit torturous for Long Fei. Now everything is unclear. There are too many doubts floating in Long Fei's mind, making Long Fei unable to calm down at all. So Long Fei almost stared at the system countdown. There is only 1 minute left. It's so weird. I don't know what went wrong. Long Fei muttered to himself, and then silently counted the time in his heart beating faster as the system changed. In fact, this is no wonder Long Fei, from his perspective, his current experience also makes him feel horrible. You must know that at this time, one thing has affected the whole body. If there is the slightest mistake, not only will he die, but his woman, son, everything related to him, and even the world he experiences will be destroyed. The smoke disappeared and was annihilated under the catastrophe of the apocalypse. Even if he was unable to change, Long Fei didn't want to just be desolate in this world without any sense of participation. For a moment, Long Fei regretted a little and felt that he had made a wrong decision. I should have known better beforehand that I shouldn't have gone crazy. There might still be a chance to join forces with Dahai, but now it's no longer possible. Barbecue. Long Fei's heart became increasingly bitter. Ding, the system reconstruction is about to be successful. Countdown, 9-inch countdown, 8. The sound of the system appeared again, and Long Fei became nervous. His eyes were fixed on the system panel. Finally, time cleared. Ding, congratulations players, the system remodeling has been completed. The current system is a self-derived version. The triggering reason is unknown. Players themselves will discover the name, True Invincible System. Long Fei was silent as he listened to the sound coming into his ears. Trigger unknown. Just a few words made Long Fei feel terrified. To put it simply, the reason why the system can be reshaped today must be because of external conditions. But it just so happens that even the system itself doesn't know this condition. As for the name, Long Fei no longer cares. Every time verification appears, please do not use incognito mode. Or anyway, along the way, the system has been called all kinds of strange names. System, continue talking. What are the current system functions? What are the tasks? There was a bit of urgency in Long Fei's voice, and he was very concerned. Ding, don't worry, although the system is being reshaped now, it is still analyzing the current world. The system voice responded. The sound is extremely familiar, it still has the same taste, the same recipe, and even the service intelligence of the system has not changed. For Long Fei, this may be the only place where he can still feel a little comfort. Ding, the system analysis is completed. The world the player is currently in is the real world. Long Fei frowned. Real world? System, does this mean that the world I experienced before was fake? Long Fei couldn't help but ask. What the system said is very interesting. The definition of true and false is no longer distinguishable in Long Fei's cognition. It seems that as the cultivation level increases, one jumps out of a circle again and again. Looking back, it seems that the previous world is full of traces of manual operations. Whether it is the power of the system or the cultivation of civilization, it seems that when the world reaches its extreme, it will break the world. Well now, a real world appeared directly, and Long Fei couldn't help but have this idea. Ding, players can make their own judgment. The system cannot answer any questions for players right now. Long Fei was silent, his expression stern. Really? Still the same dog. As before, I will blame myself for everything. As for answering my questions in advance, that's simply impossible. For a moment, some of the excitement that the system's recovery brought to Long Fei disappeared. It's okay not to have such a system. Ding, the purpose of this system reshaping is to help the host ascend to the true realm. There is only one mission, to see the true self. The system ignored Long Fei and continued to beep. Long Fei's eyes moved. True state. The realm after the only one. In other words, it is the one after the only one. Is the true self the one? Long Fei muttered to himself. Long Fei has no concept of this realm. This realm is completely unfamiliar. There is no such explanation in the known power system. Because no one has ever reached this level. Even if Dahai is so awesome, he is still not close to the top. As for him, he is worse than the sea, so naturally he cannot perceive this realm. Therefore, Long Fei was happy when he heard this prompt from the system. I no longer dislike the old operation of the system. Since the goal is to help myself get there, does that mean that I can get there before the sea? Hiss. Long Fei couldn't help but take a breath, and became excited when he thought of this possibility. If one day I return to my true state and appear in front of the sea, I don't know what the expression of the sea will be. At the thought of this possibility, Long Fei felt his blood begin to boil. Oh shit. Done. Apart from anything else, Dahai has manipulated him as a chess piece all his life. Even though it was him who brought him to where he is now step by step, Long Fei is still unhappy. But now he has not reached this state yet. If he can reach this state before him, the picture will be very beautiful. System, don't waste time, just talk about the mission. Long Fei couldn't wait. What mission? System voice # every time verification appears, please do not use incognito mode. Voice response. Long Fei. Long Fei was stunned. There is nothing to say. You think you are very humorous? Long Fei asked. He suspected that the system was intentional. He said before that there was only one mission, to see the true self. Now that he is denying it, why does he think he is a dragon? Ding, does the player have some misunderstanding about the system? Haven't I already told you the mission? Meet the real me. The system responds. That's it. Where's the reward? Where's the clue? Just one sentence, how do I do it? Long Fei's face turned dark. Now he understands that he thought of some things too early. He originally had high expectations for the system, but now it seems that he was naive. He's still himself, and even more doggy than before. There used to be an explanation, but now I don't even bother to explain it. Ding, do you have any misunderstandings about yourself? What do you think I can give you with your current realm and strength? Although I don't know how I was activated and evolved, but now I can tell you yes, that's all. The system explained. In other words, the purpose of your appearance is to tell me where this place is, and that's it. Long Fei's voice was a little depressed. I think this is enough. It's not like you don't know your current state. The power of the system is completely useless to you. It's incredible that it can evolve now and give you a little hint. There was some helplessness in the system's voice. Long Fei also fell silent. Frankly, there is nothing wrong with the system saying this now. After all, the existence of the system was no longer a help to him before. Even because of the robbery, the two almost parted ways. Then what are you doing now? Long Fei continued to ask. Chapter 5842. Chapter 5842. This is something Long Fei doesn't understand. The system itself also said that he is useless now and has no use in improving Long Fei's strength. Even any reward is meaningless to Long Fei. I don't know. Anyway, after entering this world, a kind of power was poured into the system data. It seemed that something changed and the system evolved. The system responded. In Long Fei's eyes, he must have thought of what he said when the system first woke up, that it was triggered by unknown reasons. Is it possible to find this kind of power? Long Fei asked. He perceived the crux of the problem and felt that this was an important factor. Maybe if I can figure out the reason for the reshaping of the system, I can find the possibility of breaking through to the real realm. It's possible. And it's certain that this world must be extremely weird. I analyzed this world before, and the only news I could get was a truth, and what this truth means may not just be the world itself, but may represent a kind of power, the system explained. Long Fei was slightly silent, but he still agreed with the system. After all he has experienced, he naturally refuses to accept that the world he once lived in is false. Therefore, my heart is naturally more inclined to the system's statement at this time. In other words, the most urgent task is to find a way to break the situation and find out what power makes the system upgrade again. With this in mind, Long Fei looked at the world in front of him. His face also became serious. Even after clarifying the logic, Long Fei still didn't know how to start. He knows nothing about this world. Moreover, this world was completely different from the world he had experienced before. Here he could not feel any fluctuations in aura, let alone living beings, not even spiritual energy. In addition, Everything that comes into view here is extremely dreamy. There are vast expanses of flowing clouds hanging in the sky, there are low stars, emitting starlight, there are countless high every time verification appears, please do not use incognito mode. Mountains are like the backbone of the sky. All of this is extremely unbelievable. Even if I travel across countless worlds, I have never seen such a scene. What kind of world is this? What does truth mean? Long Fei muttered to himself. He felt that he had made an incredible choice, and there was an inexplicable feeling in his heart that he was close to the answer when he entered this portal. Moreover, he believed that all of this must be related to himself. After all, the other self that appeared due to the tribulation came out of here. Perhaps we can start from this aspect. The cause of the disaster must appear here. Long Fei thought, his eyes gradually became firm. The sky above the ancient world. The sea returns. But Dahai's face didn't look good at this time. Until now, he was still wondering what Long Fei meant. Will Long Fei fall out with him? Obviously not. But what Long Fei did before made Dahai a little confused. His actions were meaningless. If it weren't for the tacit understanding between the two, he wouldn't even know how to cooperate. What is Long Fei's intention? I don't believe it. He can't feel that existence. Dahai said thoughtfully. Although the realm of the sea was only a hair away from that, it was still half a step into it. Not a single fluctuation in the void could hide from his perception. Naturally, he knew that the conversation between him and Long Fei could not hide from that person. And he also cooperated very well, playing with Long Fei Biao. Of course, he also knew very well that he could not deceive the other party at all. His intuition told him that Long Fei must have his own plan, otherwise he would not do such a meaningless thing. No matter what, I have to make some preparations. It seems that I have to enter the next realm, otherwise this gap is really not enough. Dahai thought and suppressed his thoughts. But at this moment, his eyebrows moved. A figure appeared in front of him. It was Long Fei. Long Fei Peng walked directly in front of the sea as if there was no one there, as if it was a fake show. Dahai. Damn it. It's time to make a career. For a moment, Dahai was also a little confused. He looked at Long Fei's disappearing back with deep eyes. However, after thinking for a while, Dahai still followed Long Fei's footsteps. Soon, the two of them arrived at the prehistoric world. At this time, the deadlock here is still continuing. But unlike before, now is Mr. Big's highlight moment. Both Long Batian and Long Cheng were directly digitized by Mr. Da, and their power was imprisoned. They didn't even have a chance to struggle in front of Mr. Da. Long Batian looked annoyed. This wave of blood loss. He wondered if he had been eliminated by history and crushed into dregs by the wheels of the times. It seemed that he was no longer in a position to show off, and anyone who came out could kill him. At this moment, all the strength in his body was restrained, and he could only lie down in front of Mr. Big. Soft. It was also Mr. Da who had no intention of humiliating him, otherwise he might not even be qualified to lie down. Gotta kneel. The only thing that made him feel relieved was that now Long Cheng was not much better than him, lying opposite him. At this time, Long Cheng felt hopeless. Every time verification appears, please do not use incognito mode. What did he do wrong? He just wanted to use Long Fei to show off. Was he wrong? Come on, do you really think anyone can jump in front of me? With all due respect, that means Long Fei and Dahai are out of the system, otherwise they would have to lie down in front of me. Mr. Big looked mocking. Although he is now on the verge of elimination, he is no longer qualified to participate in this game. The real core players only belong to Long Fei and Dahai. But he hasn't been eliminated yet. Now these two people who have been eliminated dare to have a sense of presence in front of him? Does this mean you don't regard him as a human being? Although he would not kill someone, it was inevitable to take action to suppress him, so as to eliminate the hatred in his heart. But he didn't notice at all that the two figures had returned in the void at this time. Dahai just frowned slightly. He has been unhappy with Mr. Big for a long time. The previous plan is about to reach the final step. Only the Lord of Nirvana can collapse the prehistoric world and let Long Fei witness the death of the people he cares about under Nirvana. This will inevitably induce Long Fei's disaster. Because, if the calamity breaks out, the real apocalyptic calamity may come. And in his plan, with his current strength, he was enough to suppress Long Fei. Unfortunately, everything has changed. The variable itself is this big man. You bitch, you ruined my life, and now you dare to humiliate my people. Displeasure flashed in Dahai's eyes. Then he waved his hand casually. Boom. The invisible power that blessed Long Batian disappeared directly. Mr. Da was stunned, and immediately guessed that Dahai was back. Without any hesitation, he turned around and said, I know you are in a hurry, so please don't be in a hurry. Everyone is in the 4th category, although you have to be stronger, but I think you still have to give me some face. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,